And we're back and we're moving into our final conversation for today. We're going to get all the details about Belize's Entrepreneur Fest. We're joined at this time by a representative of the US Embassy in Belize, Natella Svistunova, who is the Public Affairs Officer. We have in the middle CEO and co-founder of ImpactJunkie, Philip Harding. And on the end, we have Lorraine Herrera, who is the business advisor for SBDC Belize. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
And thank you for being here.
Thanks. Good to be here. It's beautiful.
So we get to find out about all the fun that you guys get to have and the people who are participating in the Entrepreneur Fest. But before we get to that, let's just find out a bit more about how this idea came together for this event.
Sure.
So perhaps I will start that.
Yes.
And, thank you for having us on the show, and welcome to Sabrina.
Thank you.
First day and
Yay.
Open Your Eyes. It's wonderful to be here again and joined by our guest, Dr. Phil Harding from ImpactJunkie and Lorraine. I wanted to thank Dr. Harding and Lorraine for the collaboration and the partnership because, as you know, none of the projects that we help put together work unless we have excellent, solid partnerships. And so this is the case here. Dr. Phil and his team have worked across the world, State Department, many different countries, and we are thrilled to welcome them here in Belize. And this is not the first time they're actually visiting Belize, but the first time that they're actually working here with the State Department and collaborating specifically with Small Business Development Center, with Beltrade, and various partners across the education, business, banking sector. And so what we are hoping overall is that after this is all said and done, that this is not actually all said and done, that it continues and it makes impact. Just like the name says ImpactJunkie. Now I'm not sure about the junkie part, but the impact. We really want the impact.
So that's a
Good kind of addiction.
That's right. That's exactly right.
We'll let Phil talk about that. But the impact part is something that we're extremely interested in, and making positive impact to and through entrepreneurship, something that will drive economic development and prosperity in Belize, because that is one of our key goals here, as you know.
And Philip, could you tell us a little bit about ImpactJunkie and how you thought it would have been most beneficial to aspiring entrepreneurs here in Belize?
Yeah. I'd say we're looking for people here in Belize who like to dream big, people who would like to make a big impact in Belize, and people who are crazy enough to think they could change the world. We're here to meet with those people, learn from those people, develop partnerships with those people, and be part of helping write the story for the future of Belize and the Belizean people.
So let's step back a moment though and talk about where you first started this addiction and in making an impact.
Yeah, that's a good. So I think it's something that resonates with a lot of people around the world, that there's got to be more that I could do with my life. And we say do more with what you've been given, start something that changes lives. And when you really realize all that you've been given, both the beautiful experiences and the painful experiences, the hard times and the good times, all the relationships, the education, and you realize how much you have and how much you can use that to help others. And so we believe entrepreneurship is the key to sustainable change. So we are looking for entrepreneurs and investors that want to be a part of that. So it really resonates. So now we've got thousands of impact junkies around the globe. We meet up, and so we have folks from Belize and Guatemala meeting with someone from the Congo or Ethiopia and the US, across the US, that are working together to say, how can we create something that's sustainable? So it's at the heart of it, it's answering that inner call and feeling that, hey, we need to do more. And so we've had an opportunity to meet with entrepreneurs already here across the country, and a lot last night even, that they really feel that same ping, that same drive.
I think it is universal, the idea of finding and fulfilling a purpose. But the execution, given the cultural differences and state of development, would be different.
Yes.
What have you found in your work as you move around other countries, the commonalities and how to overcome differences?
Yeah, that's great. One of the things we say is love, listen, learn. And we're going to talk about this a lot today in the session, which we're really excited to be partnering with SBDC. And we have business leaders and entrepreneurs and government, everyone coming together to work on this. But entrepreneurship could also be described in one word as empathy. And going in and understanding before you start jumping in with solutions, really loving, if you love people and you want to help, listen to what's going on, try to observe, and you're going to learn a lot. So we're going to work on that together. And then we have a toolbox that we help people go through.
Yeah.
We say love people, go places, change lives, and it starts with you. So it's rooted in understanding your own passion, purpose, and calling, and then connecting that more broadly. And so there's ways to do this quickly and cheaply without spending, because a lot of people, they get scared. It's like, I have an idea. Yeah, I have an idea, but I don't know where to start. Or it's going to cost too much, or I don't have the time, or someone else is going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't have the confidence in yourself.
That's right. That's right. So being part of this network, going through this process, and having, hey, we're a bunch of crazy people that think we can change the world too. So like, let's go do it together. Yeah.
So, Ms. Lorraine, could you tell me a little bit about what you felt was important to have Philip along with you on this journey with small business development?
Well, as a part of Beltrade's mandate at the Small Business Development Center, it's fostering entrepreneurship. So Philip and the US Embassy being here, collaborating along with them is actually what we were looking for, bringing all our clients together under one room, learning about innovation, startup, knowing what they want to do with their business idea. Like Philip said, that a lot of people have the idea, but they don't have the confidence, they're scared, they don't have that money. So this is a great networking opportunity for us to bring our entrepreneurial ecosystem together and building it and making it even stronger for us at Beltrade. So we felt it very important to collaborate with him in this event.
How much would you say that innovation is innate versus developed? Because I think that tends to be a part of the challenge, even with SBDC. Maybe somebody saw one successful idea and they want to replicate it. And oftentimes the unique ideas are kind of harder to come by, it seems.
I guess so one way to define innovation is adding value. So innovation is not just creating something new for the sake of something new. And sometimes people blur that, where it's like, oh, we had this really cool app or this cool thing, but there could be actually a low-tech way to solve that same problem.
Yeah.
So using your background, your skills, your expertise to add value and solve problems in the world. And that's the impact side that she talked about as well.
Yeah.
Is that's how you can have, we believe you can have a better impact through thinking entrepreneurially. And so innovation and entrepreneurship are very closely connected.
Yeah.
So thinking that way and going through life saying, I wonder how that could be done better, right?
Yeah.
And then so you start testing things, and you don't have to have the answer. The beautiful thing is your users will tell you.
Yeah.
So you can test something quickly, get feedback, and then say, okay, that didn't work, or they didn't like that, or let's tweak it a little bit, and let's try something else.
So it's the determination that will help you get to that point.
Determination is, having that's what we say, you start with your own passion, purpose, and calling. If you're rooted in that, it's going to drive you.
I wanna ask Lorraine, just looking at the landscape of the entrepreneurs who access the SBDC, what are some of the challenges that you see in the follow-through?
A lot of people come to our center. Like I said, they have the idea, and we start them with them. But a lot of people, like Phil said, they lose the courage and the determination. But at SBDC Belize, with our business advisors, what we try to do is that we try to keep following up with them. So if they don't even follow up with us, we make it our priority to follow up with our clients. So we have what we call a 60-90 rule. So if after 60 days we don't hear from you, then we contact you and see how you're doing, and if you need any additional help or where you have been since we gave you maybe an assignment on that. So we try our best to follow up with our clients.
And when you say courage, though, what does that mean? It's like you get deflated because the idea isn't working the way you first thought?
It's not working the way they wanted it to work. Maybe it was money. financing, maybe it didn't come through for them, so they lost, hope. And we try to still encourage them, that they can still do that business, maybe finding another investor or something.
And I imagine accessing finances is a challenge. How much can motivation and the work and the training of ImpactJunkie help entrepreneurs get over that challenge?
I think the beautiful thing is we just help uncover things that have been hidden inside of you all along. So we really believe that there are big problems in the world. There's big needs in Belize. And what's beautiful is we're talking with people, they're saying, we need to think global from Belize. Belize can impact the world. And I love hearing those kinds of things. I'm hearing a lot of innovative ideas that we've been having amazing meetings, and we're going to hear more today. But yeah, helping people sort of pull out, you already are the solution. We say a lot of these problems in the world are not really the problems. The problem is us stepping up and realizing that we can be the solution.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so the fest began yesterday, and I wanted to know what has been the response of the participants. How are they feeling after the first day? Yeah,
that's great. So we had a hands-on workshop last night with a lot of the YLI fellows who are entrepreneurs across Belize with the State Department. We met with universities, financial institutions, credit unions, all sorts. And we're finding gaps. We say love, listen, learn. So we're identifying gaps. And what's beautiful is we're able to bring some entrepreneurs and investors from the US as well that are here, that are also love, listening, real estate developers and others that we're finding there's just some connections that may be missing in Belize, that there's so much maybe kind of under the radar. And it's just coming in maybe from an outside a little perspective and saying, hey, you have all the things here in Belize. It's just kind of connecting that. And then if we can come in and help with what you all are doing here in Belize, we would love to be a part of it and help. And it's exciting and it's beautiful. And of course, we'd love to come to Belize. And so we're finding there are a lot that want to be focused on impact. We're finding that. And that's really encouraging that it's not just about making money. And entrepreneurship, sometimes people think entrepreneurship is just business. But entrepreneurship is about solving problems.
That's where I'm trying to tie it all together. Because when you think of impact, you think of like development work or working in the social sector locally. Because impact feels more human. Business, where it feels more financial.
That's right.
So how do you introduce this idea of impact to people who, let's be honest, are probably just thinking this is how I want to sustain myself financially?
Yeah. So we say there's sort of it's this fake wall that sort of exists with like impact, and then over here's business, and you just like make money, throw it over the fence, and then we do the impactful things, right? We do all the good stuff, and you just are greedy and want to make money, and you're bad. Let's break down that wall, and we talk about redefining entrepreneurship. We're talking about that more today as well. And at the origins of the free market and entrepreneurship is rooted in empathy and solving problems for people. And so we've sort of had to create these new terms like social entrepreneurship and impact investing, which we'll take those labels, that's fine. But we're saying let's just go back to what the origins of entrepreneurship is about in the free market. It's about understanding problems and helping people. And that, like you said, that personal connection. It's not just about making money.
So Natella, who have you been utilizing as partners and introducing to these investors and the other visitors that you have?
So what we're trying to do is what Phil and Lorraine were saying, building connections that is part of an ongoing process and something that we have been doing, we are doing, and we will be doing. And this is part of our overall effort to connect entrepreneurs, to provide that mentoring and allow them to network and build long-lasting relationships that in the end, again, will impact Belize positively. Through our YLI program, Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, we will have 2 diverse exchanges where our fellows will welcome their American hosts to Belize later this summer. So that will continue the conversation, and there are many of the same faces and similar faces. So I love the fact that our efforts are really materializing in kind of sustainable effort and something that is ongoing, and it's snowballing. It's like the first couple times with a few people. Now it's more and more. So we have the same key folks who are always at every event that we put together, but they're always new faces. So it's growing.
Yeah, and that's sort of a call to whoever's watching, like come be a part of this. Because, so we're talking with entrepreneurs, a lot of young entrepreneurs last night, and we actually spent a lot of time talking about mental health and the stress and just how difficult it can be. And given some of the additional outside pressures and difficulties that they're facing of like access to capital and other things. So if you're an investor in the country, let's talk. Like, come find us. Let's be a part of this, because we want to help connect those dots. And if you're an entrepreneur struggling, know that you're not alone. Like, there's a group out here doing this, and it can feel very lonely.
I can imagine. I think a lot of people that want to be an entrepreneur, they're perhaps a little bit hesitant because of, like I mentioned before we began, it's kind of like a roller coaster effect. You'll have some highs, but then you'll have some real lows. And I have some friends as well that are also entrepreneurs, and they're like, sometimes it's safe to have an 8-to-5 job on the side, per se, because at the end of the day, you have some form of security. What do you have to say to persons that perhaps are fearful of venturing into that field, and they don't really know how to begin because of the fear of that roller coaster?
Yeah, so one thing with our network, we have global entrepreneurs around the world, and we have jumping ceremonies, because it's actually become a thing with the community, and it's not intentional, but we have people that jump. Like, they jump either out of their existing job because they realize what they're doing has no connection to their purpose in the world. And it feels shallow, and it feels like, why am I doing this? Why am I in this rat race, so to speak? And why am I here? And so when you figure that cost and the stress and the weight on your family, right? And then you look at what I could be doing, living out my dream, and while helping others live out their dreams, then it's not such a risk. It doesn't seem like such a risk. So being motivated by that. Obviously there is risk, like we're not gonna say there isn't.
Yeah.
But when you're, again, rooted in what you love and what you feel like you were created to do, there's that sense of confidence that you have.
Yeah. So did you have a jumping ceremony?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
From what into ImpactJunkie?
So I was doing innovation work, and I did everything. I was starting like innovation centers in the Pentagon, in the US government, and had, but there was definitely a moment. I was riding the train, commuting in, and I'm looking around. I'm thinking, why am I doing this? Like, I feel, And so there's a lot we'll talk about in the sessions, but I write letters to myself, like, dear future Philip, if this happens, like, don't get stuck in that. So I found myself in this like 6-figure comfortable golden handcuffs, they're called, where you're sort of like, you're comfortable, which is also scary to be comfortable, because you're like, it's just kind of warm and fuzzy, but you're not really stretching or growing personally, and you feel like there's more. And so I kept being exposed to more needs around the globe and thinking, there's got to be more I could do. And we call them God nods, where you sort of get this sort of like, hey, did you notice that? Did you see that connection? And it's like, okay. So I started getting a series of those. So it's not like completely a crazy, without any thought, like we just go jump and we do something stupid. It is being thoughtful, and it's methodical. What?
There has to be a plan in place, right?
Yeah.
And Natella is agreeing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But tell me a moment after you decide to leave your golden handcuffs behind. And that is a struggle. Because I think when you think of leaving a low-paying job to seek a higher-paying job, that's one thing. But leaving comfort to the unknown is a different one as well.
Yes, definitely.
Tell me a moment where you realized I made the right choice. After getting started and all the struggles that I'd imagine you'd have, what happened to make you say, I have to continue?
I'll say I had one last night. I had one. I'm having one right now. Right outside of the studio are 2 entrepreneurs that we worked with in Punta Gorda village town. And we've worked with them for almost 2 years. And they're Mayan, and we have worked with them. And last night we were meeting, and he said, you have helped change the way we think. And they have all these business ideas. And it would have been easy just for me and, just to like, let's raise funds and just give free things and do handouts. But we went in with training, and there's beautiful pictures of us in the villages doing workshops with them, the same training we do in New York City or anywhere in the world. and treating them like entrepreneurs and empowering them. And that's the junkie part. When you get a taste of that and you see, it's not just like, you can get a good feeling by donating something and like, I have extra, and you give like my old pair of shoes or my old clothes. But we say the work that we're doing requires your best. And if you have approximately 29,000 days in your life or less, that's if you live to 80, and then you subtract all the time, third of it's gone by just sleeping, right? And you subtract all the time eating, social media, like you subtract all the days in your life, you're left with maybe 5,000 days total. And some of us have lived maybe half of those already. So you start thinking about like how many days you actually have. And then you look at that work number, and it's actually a significant number. And when you think, what if you could, all those days and those hours, you could spend doing something that you believe is connected, that's worth more than money. And so that's a beautiful story that's unfolding right now in Belize, actually, and there's many more like that that we share with our members, that people are a part of. And there's too many to tell. But it's moments like that, because honestly, there are hard days. Like that would be ridiculous to say, oh, it's all wonderful. After I made the jump, it was beautiful. But along the way, there's been others who say like, I want to do that. That's the thing I said. I would see these and I said, I want to do that. I want to do that. It's like, and you look back at your life and you realize your heart has been sort of guiding you all along. And so once that spark is lit and you feel that connection, you're never the same. And so you can't go back to just having the comfortable job or working in a cubicle, even though it can be safe, but you're still going to be like, man, I wish I was back out doing what I was doing, loving people, going places and changing lives.
Now, Lorraine, when you hear this and in your interaction, what excites you the most of what the entrepreneurs at this particular event they're going to benefit from?
It excites me to know that they're going to be learning a lot more and acquiring the skills and especially the knowledge that Peter's going to bestow on them today, motivating them, encouraging them, and that's what they need, being motivated and encouraged. So I think that I'm super excited to get a chance to sit in the session today. Super excited to see our clients' face light up, because I know that's what they're going to be doing today. I know that they're excited to attend. People have been calling, wanting to attend, so I know it's going to be a great session today.
How many people are going, and is there still space available? And you just show up and...
Well, it's kind of over full.
We had invited.
That's a good thing.
But there's definitely demand and hunger for this. And so that's what we said. Someone said said and done. I think it's more said and start. When it's said and started, that's kind of where we're at. This is just the launching point.
Yeah. This is just what you hope to be the beginning.
Yeah.
So let's talk us through an exercise, since we all will be there, right? So the people at the Entrepreneur Fest today, you'll talk to them about finding purpose. What is it? Your minimal viable product.
Look, you've been doing homework. This is good.
And teaching people innovation.
Yeah.
So let's do an exercise here so we can kind of get a taste of what it's like.
Sure.
Which one do you want to choose?
So one of the greatest exercises we love to do is called empathy mapping. Have you heard of that before?
I know empathy and I know mapping.
Okay, well you're halfway there. It just sounds fun to say, hey, I did empathy mapping today to your friends later tonight. So it's an exercise where we actually have a face on a piece of paper. You can draw it out, if you're following along at home. You can draw it out and have give them a little eye, a mouth, and try to have visualize a person. And then you say, what are they thinking? And so you have like lines going out from the top of their head. What's going on inside of their head? And then what are they seeing? And you go out from their eyes. What things are they seeing? What are being...
Any person.
So this would be ideally, so you can do this for yourself. We do this as an exercise to understand your past self. So you empathy map, where was I in that moment? What was I thinking? But this, when we talk about empathy and understanding who you're trying to serve, so quickly, we want to jump to solutions. It's so tempting. It's like, I have the thing. It's going to be this app. I know. And it's completely off because you didn't actually talk to your users,
Yeah.
empathize with them, understand the pain points that they're feeling. And oftentimes the problems are more complex than you realize.
Yeah.
So you may visit a country and you see trash or something, you're like, this is something we can fix. We can just scoop up trash with trash bags, right? And like
Or
we
put
can,
more trash bins.
Yeah, right. And it's like, no, but it's okay to start testing things. But anyway, so this empathy mapping is one specific exercise when we're trying to really understand what they're going through. And if you could follow them around with like a documentary film crew and really see what they're doing, like how they're living, who are speaking into their life, what insecurities are they feeling, where are they going, what words are coming out of their mouth. The quote, you can quote them. Are they feeling stressed about their family? Are they concerned about the future? Are they frustrated by their past? And really get deep into it. And you can do these empathy maps for multiple customer segments.
Yeah.
And so, and different stakeholders, depending on what you're trying to do and how you're trying to influence.
So this is like market research at a different level.
It
right?
is deep. It
so
goes
if
deep.
I have a cake shop, and I do my empathy mapping, some of these people will be emotionally eating because sugar just helps.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it helps you uncover new things. Like you think, well, this is a cake shop, but like you really find out they really want it just delivered right to them directly like, where they are because
Or
they need
it's
it in that
cheat
moment.
day and you deserve it.
Yeah, and it helps you figure out like how to communicate to them, how to reach them, and how to find out where they are. So often when we try to launch something, we go really broad. It's like, this is a solution for everyone. And you're going to end up reaching no one.
I saw this video, I think it was on TEDx about a month ago, and it's so convenient for me now because I could discuss this. It was on entrepreneurship and business planning, and the speaker was saying, he was comparing, for instance, Apple, the company Apple, to other phone companies or technological companies. And basically he was explaining the reason why businesses would not foster is because they did not establish their why first.
It's Simon Sinek, the power.
It was
Oh, yeah.
more their
Oh, yeah.
what.
Yeah.
So instead we would be selling, okay, here's this cup. This cup is glass, it's white, it's pretty. You should buy this cup, it's cheap. But he said you should do it reversed instead. The why. Why should you buy this cup? Because it holds water, because it keeps your water warm or cool, and because it's good to have something to drink.
Yeah.
What would you have to say?
You're ready for your TED Talk.
Yeah.
First day. That was great.
Yeah.
What would you have to say in response to that theory? Is that something that you explain to the attendants as well,
Yeah.
to analyze your why before your what? And also, but I'll come to that question after, but perhaps you could explain.
That is so beautiful. You hit it on the head. I mean, and that's why we start with understand you personally, both who you're trying to serve, but you starting with you first, understand why you're even doing this, right? Why are you going down this path? Because you're going to get halfway down, you're going to get committed, you're going to get a loan or investment, and you're going to be like, this is too hard, it's not what I wanted to do. But if it's rooted in like, I'm going to solve this problem because my family went through this, or this is a disease I want to cure because I experienced it, or my mother or father, or what have you. So having your why, like why you're trying to even go in there in the first place, and then why would anyone be interested in what you're trying to do? And that's where the impact side is leading with the impact. So often, so we work with a lot of entrepreneurs who say, let's just say a cleaning company, right? You have a cleaning company or this cleaning company, and there may be some differences, like we add additional features or services, but if you go in with impact and say like, what we're actually doing is giving women jobs, like we go deeper. We say, you don't really just want a cleaning company. What she wanted to do was empower women entrepreneurs.
So you're a part of something bigger. You're
That's
part
right.
of the solution.
Yeah,
You're part
and
of
so
the why.
that's why it's so important. Impact, people are like, oh, it's just kind of a nice thing to do after.
Yeah.
But no, it needs to be front and center and integrated into why you've even gone down this path.
So essentially, ImpactJunkie focuses on the why.
That's the way, you can say that, sure.
I want to just ask though, you spoke of impact investors. Is there actually a market for this, and what's been the interest in Belize so far?
Absolutely. So come find us.
Ah.
No, we actually are talking with SBDC, and there are a lot of what you call angel investors that make maybe smaller investments, but would be huge for some of these small scaling entrepreneurs, kind of under the radar across Belize. And so connecting them, we want to help with that. We're not just saying just bring outside foreign investment, which we would love to partner, but let's tap into the community that exists here. And so yes, there are investors who specifically not just want to make a financial return, but want to make an impact return. And ideally that should be the way we do all investing.
Yeah.
But that's sort of become this new term that we've coined. I'm glad you picked that up.
Yeah.
And that's where we're finding a niche. We've had to sort of relabel it so people understand it's not just about making money. Yeah, we do believe you should create something that's sustainable and can live on financially, but how are you making impact? What's the why?
Yeah.
I just want to ask one more thing. Have you ever met a person that wants to be a business owner but doesn't really know what they want to do? And what would you say to that person? Because I have friends that, Sabrina, I want to have a business or perhaps, some long-term goal after they finish their 8 to 5, of course.
Yeah.
They want to have a business, but they don't really know what they want to do. What would you say to that person?
Join ImpactJunkie. Like, first off, duh, that was a great setup. Thank you. We didn't plan that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Come join ImpactJunkie, and we're like a global network working on this.
So you also cater to persons that don't really have a business plan, but also just want to know.
We say entrepreneurs, investors, and adventurous doers. People who like raise their hand.
There are a
and
whole
are,
lot of terms
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Adventurous doers, someone who doesn't yet identify themselves as an entrepreneur or an
Yeah.
investor, and we kind of help them understand that you really are.
Ah.
Because don't be scared by that term.
Yeah.
But being rooted in your why. I mean, again, that is so important because why do you want to start a business? Is it just, I'm just going to start a restaurant? Or are you trying to create jobs for women or trying to create social change somehow in Belize or have some sort of impact? And a restaurant is just a means for you to solve that problem, right? So it's flipping it. It's not thinking, I want to start a business, so I'm going to start a business. It's what problem do you want to solve? And then the business can be a vehicle to help bring that change.
All right. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a fun day for you guys, and I know you have to get to it.
We're excited, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in and just giving us a tidbit of what you're about to encounter. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
you.
We're going to go ahead and take that final break now, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap-up, so stay tuned.